2025 was a great year for me to expand my genre horizon. Read some amazing books, some great recommendations from BookTube, but not all of my reads were great, not even good. And that's what this video is going to be about today. Let's get into it. So this is where we judge books, not people. I'm Princess. Welcome. Okay, before I get into my DNFs for 2025, I have a little bit of a rant, a little tiny little baby rant. I have a hypothesis, if you will. The people in the book community on this here BookTube, when they express that they don't DNF, right? My hypothesis is, bear with me, just listen, just bear with me, okay? My hypothesis for people that don't DNF are financially, emotionally, mentally, in relationship, be healthy and balanced. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like there's just nothing wrong with that. I'm just thinking about the way you have to be in all areas of your life, right? In all areas of your life to need or to want to struggle in some aspect of your life. It doesn't make any sense to me. And that's my hypothesis, is that your life is so well put together that in a book, you need some type of stress. You need some type of you know, struggle and strife, right? On the other hand, I won't be doing that. I won't be struggling in reality and in a fantasy. You know what I mean? Like around here, we pick our struggles. And that's just not something that I am currently, in the way that my life is set up, that I can do. I want to get to the place where other non-DNFers are, where it's just like, oh, I have nothing else to complain about. I really need a book that I don't like and that I'm just gonna have to struggle to get through. Like I want to get there. I want so much for that would be like my Maslow's, you know, that would be my peak right there, where I have nothing else to do but struggle through a bad book. That is when I know I've made it. Right there. That is when I know. So not only will I be not struggling in reality and in a fantasy, I also don't feel compelled to, it's not my fault that you wrote a bad book, right? Like it's not my fault that your editor didn't do his job. It's not. Why should I pay the price in reading, in struggling, stressing to get through this not good book, right? So that's my hypothesis, is that people on here on BookTube that, again, I love that for you. I love that you are mentally and emotionally stable to do that. Literarily, right? Literary? That's it. So I have 6 books that I DNF'd. 2 are more of like a soft DNF that I may or may not come back to. The first, and I'll do those at the end. The first hard DNF, Wuthering Heights. I listen, ladies and gents, right? I have been trying to read Wuthering Heights since high school. This is my 3rd attempt. This is my 3rd attempt. I tried reading it once in high school, DNF'd. I tried reading it in my 20s, DNF'd. I tried reading it last December, DNF'd. I actually, I do know what it is. It's the writing. It's the literary pretentiousness of it, you know? Sorry. Wuthering Heights, written by Emily Bronte. I don't know. I continue to struggle with wrapping my head around this disconnect with the older English language, that I understand it, but it's just hard for me to like really get into the story when I'm constantly trying to comprehend every single paragraph of like, what is she saying? What is happening? And I don't even know if it's the books, maybe it's the story, because even some of the older movies, I didn't really get into the movies. And I know there's an upcoming movie, Wuthering Heights, that's coming out soon, Margot Robbie, but I don't know. I don't know if it's the story. I don't know if it's the writing. I don't know what it is, but I cannot seem to get through this book, to get through this story. And I've tried so many times. I'm trying to understand why people like it, why it's still around, why are people still making movies about it. I'm trying to get it, and I don't. I read Jane Eyre last December, and I thought going into it like, oh, this is gonna be like another pretentious type of read, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get into it. So wrong. And I'm not trying to compare these sisters, Emily Bronte, Wuthering Heights, Charlotte Bronte, Jane Eyre, but so different, so different. Jane Eyre was definitely a lot more approachable in the language than Wuthering Heights. Wuthering Heights is just so pretentious to me, so pretentious. And I don't know, I loved Jane Eyre, and I wish I could say the same about Wuthering Heights, and I just can't. Will I give it another go? Yes, because I want to understand why it's a classic. I want to understand what the fuss is about. I even tried audio. I've tried audio. I've tried movies. I've tried audio. I've tried reading books. I've tried everything. I don't know what it is. Maybe this is just not my cup of tea. I don't know. But I DNF'd it again. Wuthering Heights, Emily Bronte. I just don't think it's my cup of tea. The second book is Skye Falling by Mia Mackenzie. It's a romance. It's about in her pushing 40s, I believe. I think she's like 38, 39, single, living her best life. I think she's like a travel organizer of some kind. She's bi. She, in her early 20s, donated an egg to a friend-ish, kind of a friend. And years later, 14, 15 years later, she gets a child that says, hey, you're my egg mom. My mom died, your friend died, and I have questions, and I'm curious about who you are and where I'm from, all of these kind of things. The premise of this book is good. I didn't like, not necessarily that I didn't like the main character, I just felt like the main character wasn't as interesting as she thought she was, if that makes sense. You know, when a character just thinks that they just have this main character energy and they really don't. Like, I cared way more about her donor egg, who became her daughter. I don't know how you say that relationship. She was way more charismatic. She was way more interesting. She like, that character was more interesting than the main character. And I don't know what that says about either the writing or the character development, but I just didn't care enough to continue. I soft DNF'd this first, and then I tried picking it back up. And I was just like, I get it. It's a romance. She's gonna fall in love with her daughter's aunt. I don't know. The main character just wasn't main character energy to me. She just wasn't interesting. Other people around her were more interesting than the main character, and that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So Skye Falling, I don't know. It was It was okay. DNF'd. So, Bloodmarked. Bloodmarked? Yes, Bloodmarked. Tracy Dion. I DNF this not for any other reason other than I try really hard to be diverse in my readings, but why A? I don't know. I keep giving it a shot. I really do. I don't have anything objectively wrong with this book or the series. Legendborn, so good, so good. Chef's kiss, no complaints. It was good. By the time I got to the second book, the suspension of disbelief of me like wrapping my head around this 16-year-old saving the world. You know what I mean? Like, I just wasn't there anymore. I just wasn't in the world anymore. I just wasn't, right? For no other reason, not because of the pacing or the plot or anything other than it's YA and I don't want to be here anymore. And so because it's just YA and that's the only reason I DNF'd it, for no, structural reason or, real criticism, I just try to be fair with my judgment and, fair but also clear. I don't think there's anything wrong with this book. I'm not the target demographic and nothing kept me interested. Nothing kept me wanting to know what happened to these children in between classes, So I just like being clear on that. I don't think it's fair to judge YA at my old age, to judge harshly. I just don't. It's just not fair. It's me, not you. That type of thing. Bloodmarked, I won't be continuing this series. I wish the FMC well. I hope that she saves the world. I hope that she gets her man, all of the things, right? I won't be there. Okay. Awakening, Nora Roberts. Let me explain. Let me explain. I'm not a fantasy girly. I'm not typically that's not my field. That's not my genre. But I wanted to, again, I was getting influenced and I wanted to see what all of the hype was about with all of these dragons and like shadow daddies and all of the things, right? I wanted to like dip my toe into the realm of dragon riders and all of the things. And I figured by starting off, I could either go YA, right? Or I could like ease my way into it through, I don't know, a more seasoned author that's going to be light on the fantasy part of it, rather than like jumping full-fledged into dragons and all of those things. The Awakening. What do I say about this? It was just too comical for me. First and foremost, the beginning of this book, I was locked in. It's about a late 20s single FMC, no kids, not married, lives that very humble teacher life, broke, and a contentious relationship with her mom. She was raised by a single mother, and one day she is going through like some, something in her mom's house, and she stumbles upon some financial papers where she sees a financial account with some commas and some zeros and her name on it. And she's like, why is my mom like harboring all of this money from me? My money. And so she goes to this financial institution and she says, I don't understand like this information. Like, I'm this person, but I don't know anything about this account and this money. Help me understand all of this. And the employee at this financial institution is like, yeah, your mom says that you are not capable to, handle your funds. And so she's been managing it on your behalf and all of this kind of stuff. And she's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, I have a master's, I'm an educator, I am, an upstanding citizen, blah, blah, blah. Like, she's listing all of her accomplishments and how stable she is and all of these things. And she's like, this doesn't make sense of why I can't be in control of my account. So anyway, she is, she has words with her mother. And so she decides to, she just doesn't understand why her mom is like, you not necessarily deserves to be broke, but you should just struggle. And she just doesn't understand that, like, I have student loan debt and like all of this kind of stuff. And like, I have money to pay for it. Like, why are you keeping this from me? So anyway, she takes a piece of her money and she goes to Ireland, where her father's family is from. And she kind of does this, finding her roots situation. And while in Ireland, she stumbles upon a portal where she's in a whole other world. And she's, she stumbled upon like her father's side of the family, and she's getting to know like what she is and like the people that she comes from and her lineage of being like this special type of witch fave thing. And then all of a sudden a dragon swoops in, and I just couldn't do it. It was just hilarious. Like, it started off strong with like, a complicated relationship with her mother, being, raised by a single mother, and, her father went MIA, but left her all of this money and family issues and all of this kind of stuff. And then swoops in a flying dragon. It was just, I just couldn't do it. No other reason other than, what? Like, what do you mean it's flying around? It just was, that genre is just not for me. I'm not knocking people who likes flying dragons in their books. It's just, I just can't take it seriously. I can't. It tickles. It tickles. It tickles me. It really does. Nora Roberts, she had me. You know what I mean? She had me. And then she lost me. This is a trilogy that I obviously won't be continuing. Yeah, the Awakening series, Nora Roberts. I am open to trying different genres, different subgenres, and all the things. It made me laugh. It did. It was just, I just couldn't take it seriously. I'm sorry, Dora. And then, lastly, my two potentially soft DNFs are going to be Adrienne Young's Spells for Forgetting. I read another Adrienne Young's book, The Unmaking of June Farrow. It was good, and I really wanted to get more into her work. She does atmospheric writing so well, like so well. Just, I'm there, I'm in it, I'm in the story, I'm in the spookiness. And the Spells for Forgetting was very much that. My only problem with this book was I felt like there were too many characters. I felt like it took place in a small town, I believe on an island. This guy, there's this mystery of like in the past someone dies, and this now man comes back to the small town to bury his mom. But I just feel like the entire town had a say in the story. There was, you know, the neighbor, and then the sheriff, who's the uncle, and then there's, you know, the FMC, who has this aunt, and all. Like, I just felt like there was too many characters, and I couldn't really wrap my head around any of it, right? Like the main story of what's going on, because all of these side characters are involved and has a say in what's going on. I don't know. It seems like a really good book, and I want to continue reading it. I was just overwhelmed by the characters. That's it. There's no other reason. I just couldn't keep track of this neighbor is who again? You know, like this grandparent of the girl that died, and then her connection to her best friend. It was just too, like, it was a small town vibe, but when a small town vibe involves everyone, it's kind of like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on. Like, main characters only, you know what I mean? A couple of side characters, that's it. But like, the whole town doesn't need to speak up. So yeah, it's a soft DNF because I like the book. I just need to be in a headspace of be able to take in all of the information, and it just felt like a lot of different voices. Everyone had their own opinion about something, and I just couldn't keep track of it all. So yeah, Spells for Forgetting, Adrienne Young, potentially a soft DNF. I might circle back. And lastly, we have The Monsters We Defy by L. Penelope. I read this around the Halloween spooky season, and I think maybe I was just overwhelmed with all of the other paranormal books I was reading. Sometimes it gets like that. Sometimes you're like, ooh, I want to read all of the Halloween spooky books. Or sometimes it's like, I want to read all of the Christmas books. I want to read all of the fall books. And you just get, I don't know, tired of the same idea within that season, if you will. And I think that's what happened with this book. Because again, I don't have any objective dislike about this book. It was a good book. I just wasn't in the mind space for it. So this follows a young woman. She's like in her mid-20s, and it's a historical fiction. So it takes place in like 1920s Harlem, New York. So very much Harlem's Renaissance, you know, jazz, that whole vibe, right? And she has the gift of being clairvoyant or a medium. She sees ghosts or speaks to ghosts to some degree. And she's very well known around her neighborhood, and people come to her with, you know, questions or, you know, help with finding out information from people that they know that's beyond the veil, and they know she can help them with these problems. And so she is, you know, she open door, people come to her all the time. People are going missing, right? And so people in the neighborhood are coming to her like, hey, I can't find my son, I can't find my nephew, my wife, whomever. And she, at some point, again, I DNF, but this is where I left off. She reaches over to the other side, and a spirit is like, hey, I'll help you if you help me. I have some information that you need, but I think it's like a piece of jewelry. I think it's like a ring or necklace of some kind. And the spirit says, if you get this jewelry for me from this person, I'll help you find out all of this information. And so the FMC is like, okay, I will help get this piece of jewelry back. And so she gets together this ragtag team of, you know, thieves and smugglers, and all of these people come together. And there's all of these missing black people that just goes missing, and there's a a Scooby-Doo type of mystery where ghosts are involved and they go on this journey of finding missing Black people. And I don't know, I just wasn't in the mood for it at the time. Again, I don't have any objective. I had a good time with the book. That's what I mean. Like, I was having a good time with the book. I just wasn't in the mood to find out what happened. I just didn't. A mystery just wasn't what I needed at the moment. And so because I don't have a real reason to, give up on this book, I don't think I am. It was a good book. It was interesting. I was entertained. The pacing was there. The historical fiction, the Harlem Renaissance in the 20s, all of it was there. And I love a good paranormal. I just didn't want to go on a mystery. I just wasn't in the mood for a mystery. So I think that's going to be a soft DNF. I don't know when I'm going to circle back. But yeah, for now, it's a soft DNF. And that's it. Those are my DNF books for 2026. Let me know in the comment section if you think I'm on the right path with my hypothesis. That's the video. See you guys in the next one. Okay, thanks. Bye.